My name is TK Kuegler. I am the founder and managing partner of Wasabi Ventures Stables. And this is an information session that we do. The way that these work is really, it's an open forum for anyone that's on the line and anybody that shows up to ask any questions they want about what we do or how we do it. Considering I am looking at who's on right now, both of you know us since you're both club members. So you get the extra benefit of being able to ask whatever questions that you may want. Now you're both on mute right now, so if you, just in case you're someplace where there's a lot of background noise or whatever, feel free to chat a question. But what I wanted to do, and to give you guys something to react to, is I wanted to just lay out a couple of things and give a handful of updates on some of the things that we have going on that I thought might be interesting to anyone that may be listening as well. And we are recording this, so if there are folks who will listen to the recording later, hopefully you find it interesting. So a handful of things. Currently, I did, this is my second sort of interview today. I did a podcast for a racing program earlier today, a couple hours ago. So I feel like I've got all this the marketing stuff in my brain that I talked about. But, you know, we started off as a straight claiming operation. When I first started off, I really thought claiming was the way to go, especially it gave people instant action. It allowed us to get horses racing right away, and it also got us in at price points that would allow anyone to sort of participate. And we had a lot of great success, and I love the claiming game. We're never going to not be a claiming operation at some level, mostly because I just find it fun. But one of the things that happened over time and as we grew, and we are now 300 plus people in our group from all over the country. One of the things that really grew out of that was that we had people come in who were looking for other aspects of the thoroughbred industry to be a part of. So we layered on 2-year-olds from auction, and this year we had 6 that we acquired from either auctions or private sales. We layered in yearling pinhooking this year as well. So we currently have a pinhooking group that's working with, let's see, we have 4 yearlings in that group. We also picked up a yearling that we're going to have for our own racing. So that is in the mix. And then last but not least, how could it not be complete if you didn't layer in brood mares as well? So the only aspect of the business that we are not currently covering, of the racing part of the business, is we do not have a sire, a stud yet, a sire that we do. But believe it or not, it's on the long-term plans to add that as well. But for now, we're covering all aspects of it. We've got about a month and a half left in 2018. It's been a pretty good year for us. If you look behind me, you'll see all the winner's circle pictures that we've had. It goes all the way down the entire screen, but all the way starting up from Slick William right here at the top, our very first win, which was in February of 2017, all the way down to Broad Expanse, which was about a month and a half ago, was our last win. So, and a bunch of different tracks and a bunch of different horses. So it's been a fun ride. But I think, and I've told the group this just recently, I think the stat that I am most proud of, and I think it shows that we've done a really good job and allowed people to be successful, is that about 40% of our horses are profitable. And that's just an unheard of thing in this industry. So anyway, that's a quick preamble. What's going to happen in the last month and a half here? There's a chance that we add, well, we're definitely going to add one broodmare going into next year. Participate, who is in our racing stable today. Her racing career will end, and she will get added to our broodmare group. That was always the plan when we claimed her a couple months ago. She's actually racing tomorrow. She, although she loves the turf more, I think we're going to leave her in and let her run on the dirt tomorrow. There's just very few opportunities left for her to run, but she'll finish and then she'll become a broodmare. We may add a broodmare, one more, if we find absolutely the perfect broodmare that falls into our lap. But that'll probably be the end of the broodmare ban for us this year. And then going into next year, we've started working on goals. One thing that's definitely going to happen is we're going to start a string of horses for the winter at Oaklawn in Hot Springs, Arkansas. And Jesse Cruz who was our trainer in Delaware and currently has a couple of horses of ours at Charlestown as he waits for January to roll around. He's going to take off and set up a string at Oaklawn, and we'll do some claiming down there, and we'll ship a couple horses in with Jesse and see if we can have some fun down in Arkansas and broaden our horizons here. So anyway, that's a good preamble of what we got going on. I'd love to get 2 or 3 more wins before the year's over and finish on a nice high note. But with all that said, I'm happy to take questions from either one of you. If you have specific questions about specific horses or the plans that we have, I'm sure I can answer them. Well, I don't know if I'm sure I can answer them, but I'm sure I'll give it a shot. And you can use the chat function that's at the bottom of the screen if you want to chat. If not, I will open up the microphones in a couple seconds. I just want to always give people warning so that there's not a ton of background noise. Lauren asked, how are the two Maryland 2-year-olds doing, Willie the Whale and Old Line Magic? Good, actually. I did the final, there was a last fee that I had to pay the Jockey Club for Willie the Whale. I'm really hopeful. I actually have a call with Beth tomorrow morning, Beth Warden, who's the trainer, Dorothy Warden. I have a call with her tomorrow morning, and those two are on the topic of will we be able to get them to race before the end of the year. Willie has had an adventure. He's a high-spirited horse, so he's flipped over on an exercise jockey, cut himself up a little bit a couple weeks ago. Nothing serious, but he's a high-spirited guy. So we're working through some of that. Old Line Magic worked a couple weeks ago in a timed work. I think it's got a timed work plan for this weekend. I think there's a chance that both of them are going to run. So that would be great. If that happens, that will mean 6 of our 7 2-year-olds will have run as 2-year-olds. And that's actually a pretty good sign if you can pull that off. That means you pick some good horses. And we haven't had the greatest of luck with them yet, but it's still early for most of them. It's a good question, Lauren. Any other questions? Lauren asked, what are your early thoughts on the Golden Lad yearling? Good. Now, when we picked up the Golden Lad yearling, we knew that the horse was a little bit behind schedule, had a couple little minor physical issues where we would have to give it a little time, which is why it was not a pinhooking prospect. But doing well. Hope to go down and see them early in December down in Virginia. But the Zoe down there, who's breaking the horses for us down there, says all of them are doing well. We have 3 yearlings down there. The Golden Lad is one of them. So that's kind of the story on the Golden Lad yearling. But nothing good or bad to report at this point. Progressing, just as it should. Chad asks, the race on Saturday, race 6. What connections will be there if there's a win by a WV horse? Well, I don't know which connections will be there. I can tell you I won't be there on Saturday. There probably will be some racing. Some club members there. I know a bunch of people were talking on going. I know Lauren was even. I saw a thread right before we got on here that Lauren was even talking about going as well. So, but I can tell you, I won't be here. I won't be at the race for sure. One thing to know as a club member, if you're at a race and the horse wins, you can always go into a winner's circle. You can always do that, and it gets coordinated, and you just work your way to the winner's circle when the race ends. And you're absolutely always welcome to be in the winner's circle to get your picture taken with the horse. And of course, we send out winner's circle picture if the horse wins. So, hence all the pictures behind me. So, and in some cases, you can see we have massive crowds in the race in the winner's circle. So we got one over here where we had like almost 15 people in the winner's circle and waiting on one. So that was a lot of fun. Any other questions on any topic? Well, I give you a couple seconds in case something bubbles up. One of the interesting things that I got to do this week, and it was really fun, I talked about horses being profitable. We had 2 horses claimed away in the last couple of weeks, and we had over $25,000 going back out to club members. So that's always kind of cool. So when you're able to do that, so really kind of cool when you get to send money back out to folks. And for those of you who have been in other syndicates or owned horses, that doesn't happen very often. I know some of our club members have been in other syndicates and talk about where they never got a dime back. Lauren asked a question. You mentioned wanting to get a stallion in the future. Do you think that would be something where we would buy into a newly retired non-WVS stallion, or is that a goal that we would have a horse do well enough on the track to merit becoming a stallion? Well, I would love to say, Lauren, that it would be our horse. That would be like the greatest big story, but I think that's probably a ways down the road. What I think is more likely, and what we've been in discussions with, is in the next year or two, finding a horse that could be a stallion and buying it and putting it into the breeding. Obviously, if it could be one of ours, that would be fantastic. I can tell you none of the horses we currently have in the barn are sort of that ilk. Considering most of our male horses are geldings, they really don't qualify. But you never know down the road. That would be the perfect world if it could be one of ours. But even if it's not one of ours, we're kind of looking to one we would buy, and we may even buy it in partnership with someone else and do it that way. Well, I think we had somebody join. It's working the iPhone there, I see. So Yeah, so hopefully that answered your question, Lauren. It's like I said, it's probably a future goal, and we'd have to find really the right course and at the right price point to make it all work. But it's another one of those things where we would let club members uh, buy in to being a part of a sire. It's a totally different thing than any other aspect of the business. It's very interesting, and as far as I know, I don't know of anyone else that would do sire syndications the way we would do sire syndications. So it would truly be one of those things where we're trying to build something that's very disruptive and inclusive. So it'll be fun. It would be really crazy fun if it's our horse too, but Chad asked, where will the sire be located? It's probably a little early to say, but I mean, in the ideal world, it would probably be a Maryland-based sire. That's probably where the core of our breeding operations are going to be. But time would tell on that. As it stands now, it would be a Maryland-based sire. And like I said, we're probably at least a year or two off of that. But it's in the plans. Lauren asked, when are you looking to get into California racing? Well, Lauren, I actually had a call with someone today talking about that. Part of that is just finding the right trainer that we can work with, and in the right sort of placement, and also not overextending myself a little bit. The amount of time that I take managing our horse operations and working with trainers takes a lot of time in a day. And the next place we're going to expand is Kentucky, mostly because I think I found a really great trainer who I think she's going to be really fantastic to work with. So I'm willing to give her a shot, put a string in Kentucky coming up here in the next, in the spring. So that'll be probably the next place. And we're not too far off of adding New York as well. So, with that, we really have everything east of the Mississippi covered that's interesting. And the only real place left to add will be Southern California. If we do that, we really will be covering coast to coast all of the key places where you can have racing, and all of the best venues and all the best locations, and we really will be a national sort of footprint. But you got to do it smartly, and you got to think your way through it, and make sure you can get good partners and trainers in all the places that we work. Lauren asked, are you still looking at horses that cost $30,000 or less in those other areas, more expensive racing areas of the country? Yes, primarily so, Lauren. I would say our price points are going to stay in that range. What I will think you will see is we're going to start sprinkling in some horses that are a little more on the higher expense side. As we find them and they fit a model that works for us. As we've grown and we've gotten more members, this enables, it gives different people with different budgets the ability to participate. We started and we made our bread and butter down at sort of that $5,000 and $10,000 claiming range, adding $25,000 horses and eventually, maybe $50,000 horses to the mix. We have people that want to play at that level as well, and because we let people get in at 0.5%, even for a few $100, you can get yourself into a horse that's maybe on a different trajectory, and that's part of what we hope to do there. But once again, it's all about not getting over our skis and making sure that we don't leave the club behind. Just because we want to buy a $25,000 or a $50,000 horse, if you don't get, if the rest of the club members don't want to come along, it sort of defeats what we're trying to build. Any other questions or thoughts from anyone? That's Mr. Boyd, right, on the iPhone? Yeah, I thought that was you. With you're sneaky with the no name iPhone, but you never know. Just to give everyone a chance, if everyone is in a quiet place, I'll count to 3 and I'll unmute you all, and then you can ask questions verbally as well, because I know sometimes the typing doesn't work as easily for everyone. But I'll count to 3, and if you're somewhere loud, go ahead and mute yourself right after, so there's not a lot of background noise. But 1, 2, 3, and everyone's unmuted. So just give everyone a chance. If you want to ask a question verbally, feel free to, and I'm happy to answer and do whatever I can to give some direction. Any questions from anyone?
The TK Buck question.
Yes, sir.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, it's Chad.
Yes,
I was just asking, are you, for the claiming game, are you focused on Maryland tracks, any track that Wasabi works with, or?
We I would say 80% of my focus on the claiming is in Maryland. If you notice, we have claimed other places. We've done some claiming down at Gulfstream historically. We've also done some claiming in Pennsylvania at Penn National. We did some claiming at Delaware when that season was open, and we've even claimed a couple horses at Charlestown. I will tell you, some of this is seasonal. For example, claiming at Gulfstream really won't start until like sort of January timeframe. That's when claiming really picks up at Gulfstream, and people start sending their horses down there from other parts of the country. Oaklawn, we will be claiming a lot at Oaklawn. That's one of the reasons why we're going there, is to look for horses to claim that once the season ends at Oaklawn, we'll be able to ship them, to other places that we race. But our bread and butter, and historically what we've done, I would say 80% of our claiming has happened in Maryland. But I look at horses in all kinds of places. I mean, we almost claimed one in Ohio the other day. So we do look at other places. Part of just to expand and give you more color, Chad, part of what you have to sort of learn when you play the claiming game is that it's a team effort, and not every trainer is a great claiming trainer. Some are good at it and some are not good at it. Some of them like to do it and some of them candidly don't like to do it at all. I'll give you an example of a trainer we have who really doesn't enjoy the claiming game, is Ronnie Spatz down at Gulfstream. Ronnie, that's not what he likes to do. It's not his bread and butter and not what he focuses on. So claiming with Ronnie isn't something that you can do. So you have to have a trainer at a track, at a location, who is also both good at it and likes to do it. So it's a team approach. You can't just because you want to claim something somewhere, if you don't have the right the right team in place, it's hard to pull that off. Any other questions?
I don't have any.
Okie dokie. Well, hey, thanks for coming tonight. I actually thought the questions that we got were very good, and hopefully you got a picture of some of the things that are coming. Just a pre-sale for everyone. The next session we're doing is the first time we're going to do a Meet the Trainer session. So Jesse Cruz is going to come on, and you'll be able to ask Jesse questions, whatever you might want to ask him. So it's our first Meet the Trainer session, and I think it's in like 2 weeks. We're gonna have a session coming up. We're gonna have a session coming up for a Meet the Trainer in about 2 weeks with Jesse Cruz. 1 week. I just got notification from Michelle, who's sitting over in the corner, that 1 week from today, I think, is our Meet the Trainer session with Jesse Cruz. So hopefully you all can come out and not make Jesse too nervous to have to answer questions. Cool. Well, thanks everybody for coming tonight. And like I said, we recorded this. So for those of you who may have missed the beginning, you'll be able to listen to the recording. For those of you who asked all the great questions, that's great. And, have a great evening. I'm going to go off and find some dinner.
All right. Thanks, TK.
Thanks a lot, TK.
All right. See y'all.
All right. Take care.
Take care.